love for them to be up here with me. Is that okay? Good afternoon, everyone. I first would like to ask my fellow council members to please come up and join me today. Thank you. I lost y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here today. It means so much to see everyone here to celebrate, uplift, and stand in solidarity with the transgender community of our city. Transgender Day of Visibility is more than just a day. It's a declaration that trans lives are valuable, that trans voices deserve to be heard, and that no matter what challenges come, this community will not be erased. While today is a day to honor, acknowledge, and celebrate, it is also a time for us to reflect on the hardships that have been a painful reality for so many recently. It's incredibly disheartening to see our leaders at the statewide level prioritizing time and resources on bullying such a small population of people when we're facing serious issues that need reform, such as healthcare, gun regulation, increasing pay for our teachers, and the list goes on. It continues to bewilder me that as a top uninsured state in the nation, attacking people who want nothing more than to live their life as who they are is where we have laid our focus. Unfortunately, because certain people have decided their opinions are worth more than the lives of others, there have been intentional decisions to attack, target, and attempt to criminalize the personal, peaceful, and unharmful choices of individuals in a country that claims to champion individual liberties and rights. We've seen the attacks, the fear-mongering, the policies designed to push back into the shadows, but let me be clear, no matter what the state legislature or this administration throws our way, Dallas's support for trans lives will not waver. The Dallas that I stand for is one where we believe in showing up for one another. We believe that everyone deserves to be seen, to be heard, and to be lived without fear. Visibility is power, and today we send a clear message. Trans people are here, they belong, and we will always stand beside them. I would now like to present our special recognition for Transgender Day of Visibility, and I'm going to ask for help from my colleagues to read this. I'm going to start with the first whereas, and if y'all would please come in and help me read this special recognition. Whereas Transgender Day of Visibility was founded in 2009 by Rachel Crandall, a licensed psychotherapist and an international transgender activist.
Whereas Transgender Day of Visibility is observed annually on March 31st and is dedicated to celebrating and recognizing transgender people and raising awareness about the lives and contributions of transgender and non-binary people worldwide.
Whereas there are approximately 1.6 million individuals in the United States that identify as transgender, with approximately 122,700 individuals living in Texas, and
Let's see where I can find myself. Where are you at?
you're fourth,
Okay. Dallas embrace. Oh, sorry.
right here.
Okay. Right here.
Yes.
Transgender people are facing high, no, we already did that. No? Transgender people are facing high levels of discrimination by the state and federal government, with over 80 bills filed in the 89th Texas Legislative that would impact LGBTQ Texans, and through events on social media, campaigns, educational initiatives, and advocacy efforts, Transgender Day of Visibility helps to challenge stereotypes, combat discrimination, and encourages allies to support the transgender community.
And whereas Dallas embraces diversity and stands firmly against any form of discrimination and hate-based or sexual orientation or gender identity or expression, and
whereas the city values the uniqueness of our residents and stands with the youth and their families who deserve to be who they are, treated with dignity, and to receive equal treatment and protection.
And whereas the City of Dallas works with the community in development and support of policies that uphold the universal rights of humanity through collaboration with boards, commissions, and community partners. Now, therefore, I, Adam Bazaldua, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Dallas, and on behalf of the Dallas City Council, extend special recognition to the entire transgender community and recognize March 31st, 2025 as International Transgender Day of Visibility. As a part of today's press conference, we have 4 amazing speakers here with us today to share a little bit about their experience and or their work. I would now like to introduce our first speaker, Michael Macklin, Donor Relations and Communications Coordinator for Texas Pride Community Foundation. Michael Macklin is a dynamic communications and engagement expert with a rich background in the public service sector, ranging from not-for-profit radio administration to crafting programming, directing, impacting individuals at the intersection of Black and transgender. As a passionate advocate for belonging and equity, she has leveraged her unique perspective as an Afro-Latina woman of trans experience to transform and contribute to creative and media-driven advocacy with the goal of amplifying the stories of underrepresented and underserved communities and contribute to the stabilization and enrichment of Texas's LGBTQ community legacy. Please welcome Michael.
Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to stand here before you today on Transgender Day of Visibility in the presence of leaders, community members, and advocates who recognize the dignity and worth of my transgender siblings. I want to thank Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Adam Bazaldua and the City of Dallas for their courage in honoring this day and standing firmly with the transgender community of Texas. I was raised in a Caribbean household where faith was the foundation of our lives. Even on my path of self-discovery, I lived quietly within the parameters of what was expected of me for much of my early years. Safety via stealth. My story didn't change the day my gender marker on my driver's license changed from M to F. It changed the day I made my first intentional choice. To stop sleepily watching the emboldened from the sidelines. For many years, I navigated the world with a privilege that allowed me to pass unnoticed. But I saw how that same privilege that protected me was being weaponized by those who sought to erase those who had no choice but to live visibly. I realized the silence was not neutrality, it was complicity. And so I made the choice to leverage my presence, my voice, my access to create conversations and build relationships between my community and those who would bring it harm. Make no mistake, the emboldened forces working against transgender people today have long understood the power of visibility. That is why they fight to make it so dangerous, to legislate it out of existence, and to make stepping into the light a radical act. But today, as we gather in recognition and remembrance, let us be clear about why visibility matters. For those who have had no choice but to live openly, you have always been our champions. For those who choose to step into visibility, this is your time to embrace your purpose. And for those who have never had to consider what it means to be visible, this is your time to challenge yourself, to take the risk of standing beside us, not just in word, but in action. Visibility is more than being seen. It is about being counted. It is making it possible for those in power to pretend that we don't exist. And just like every identity within the LGBTQ+ community, The visibility of our allies strengthens us. It reinforces our humanity, our faith, and our resilience. So today, I ask you, place your body next to mine under the light of the front line. Stand with us so that those who seek to erase us may know that we will not be fear-mongered into obscurity. We will not shrink. We will not be silent. We will not back down. To the city of Dallas, to its leaders, and to all who are gathered here today, thank you for making this commitment. Thank you for recognizing that protecting the transgender community is not just about policy. It is about the preservation of human dignity. Today, we honor visibility. Tomorrow and every day after, we honor action. Thank you.
Oh, I put them up. Thank you, Michael. Our second speaker is Twan McGarry. Twan is a dedicated advocate, program manager at the Normal Anomaly, and a leader in trans advocacy and stigma reduction. As a Black trans man with years of experience in case management and community engagement, he works to create safe, inclusive spaces while pushing for policy change and visibility. Through initiatives like Talks with Twan and Black Trans Unity Pride, Twan continues to uplift his community and fight for justice. Please welcome Twan.
Good morning, or good afternoon. Well, first and foremost, I want to say I truly appreciate the introduction. It means a lot to be recognized for the work that I'm passionate about. But more than anything, I see this as a collective effort. None of this will be possible without the community. The people who show up, the Michaels, the Leslies, who speak out and push for change alongside me. So thank you for the amazing introduction, and let's get into it, right? So I got into the advocacy work because I saw firsthand how trans men, especially Black trans men, were on the back end of things. We were being overlooked, left out of conversations that impacted our lives, and struggling to get the resources that we need. It was harder to access health care, harder to find support, harder to be seen. I knew something had to change, and I wasn't about to wait on somebody else to do it. Today it's not just about being seen. It's about being heard. It's about showing up, standing tall, even if I'm just 5'3", and making it clear that we're not going anywhere. Trans people exist, Black trans men exist, and we deserve to be here just like everyone else. Thank you. But let's keep it real. Visibility is only the first step. It doesn't mean much if we're still fighting for our basic rights. If we're still struggling to access health care, housing, and jobs without discrimination. It doesn't mean much if our trans siblings are still being targeted and silenced. We need more than just awareness. We need real change. So for me, being visible is more than just showing my face. It's about making space for our trans youth to grow up knowing that they are enough. Spaces where Black trans men and trans women thrive without fear. Spaces for our trans sisters and brothers and non-binary folks to live freely. So today we celebrate, but we also demand better. We demand respect. We demand justice. We demand a future where being trans isn't just a fight, but it's a gift. So we're here, we're loud, we're not going anywhere, and we will not be erased. Thank you.
Thank you, Tuan. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, Leslie McMurray, Transgender Education and Advocacy Associate for the Resource Center. Leslie has spent 33 years in radio and television before transitioning and taking on the role of Transgender Education and Advocacy Associate for the Resource Center. Over the past decade at the Resource Center, Leslie has conducted scores of trainings for a variety of entities, from Fortune 500 companies to the HR managers from the National Hockey League. She has trained medical students, hospital staff, and law enforcement, even the EEOC. Leslie is a contributing columnist for the Dallas Voice and a frequent resource for Dallas television and radio stations on issues relating to the transgender community. Please help me welcome Leslie.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction that I wrote. I've spent the last decade at Resource Center as an educator, mostly working to help folks understand transgender people. Whether I've been successful in that endeavor, I'll leave for others to judge. I officially retire tomorrow. Thank you. I participated in Pride Month celebrations, and I've cried my eyes out at our annual Transgender Day of Remembrance, where we remember those who were cruelly and violently taken from us. Today is different. Transgender Day of Visibility is supposed to be a day to honor the accomplishments and contributions of transgender and gender nonconforming people while raising awareness of the struggles we face. This year, the day feels a little less celebratory, as I feel less safe now than I ever have. Just standing here in the public space is an act of rebellion. But there are some positives. There are a couple of trans women I'd love to recognize: Zoe Zephyr, the first trans woman to be elected to the Montana legislature, and Sarah McBride, a transgender woman serving in the United States House of Representatives from Delaware. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the loss of Gilbert Baker, who passed on this day in 2017. Mr. Baker sewed the very first rainbow pride flag. As for the struggles, I'm really not sure where to start. For one, transgender and gender nonconforming people are in most ways no different than anyone else. Inflation takes a bigger and bigger bite out of our paychecks too. We love our kids and grandkids just like anyone else. Our homeowners insurance has doubled in the last 4 years, and my Dallas County property taxes have also gone up, so yay. But being transgender, I'm also a part of a community that has been unfairly and wrongly demonized. We are not the monster under the bed. I drove to Austin last week to talk to our Northern Texas representatives. A hate group had stationed themselves outside of Capitol bathrooms, hoping to harass and photograph trans people using the restroom. That is unacceptable. There are currently around 200 anti-LGBTQ bills filed in the Texas legislature and some 500 nationwide. There have been a slew of executive orders that threaten to limit or eliminate our access to health care, access to passports and accurate identification documents, our ability to participate in military services being litigated currently. We've seen rollbacks of employment protections for trans people, and yes, efforts to regulate where we might use the restroom, without citing a single example of that ever being a problem. Look, assault is already against the law, right? Sure it is. So is voyeurism, harassment. So if someone is in a restroom and acting up, punish the behavior, not the person just for existing. In other words, we don't need the world's richest man blaming us for his car being set on fire. Apparently, they can handle that all on their own. In a neighboring state, there's an effort to ban gender-affirming haircuts, whatever that is. Another bill in our legislature would essentially make being transgender illegal. Think about that for a second. When I was in Austin last week, I had a legislator earnestly ask me how I knew I was transgender. Other than answering, I just knew, I had staffers in the office write down their name, sign their name on a notepad. I then noted that they all used their right hand to do it. I asked how they chose to put the pen in their right hand, and they said it wasn't a choice, they just do. I said, okay, well, try signing your name left-handed. The struggle was real. I asked how it felt writing left-handed. They said hard, challenging, out of place. So it is with gender. You know who you are. You don't need anyone to tell you. Performative gender might get you by, but it never feels right, no matter how hard you try. It's hard, it's awkward, it's out of place. I'm just me. I know that I could get the haters to take their foot off my neck if I just played their game, but that's not the life I want to live. Today, trans visibility is a privilege, and it's not always safe. It's not something to be taken for granted. I can't tell who's an ally just by looking. Texas has its own set of challenges, and my hopes are that our leaders will address them. As for transgender people, our lives are difficult enough without our elected leaders erecting needless roadblocks to our pursuit of happiness that have absolutely no legitimate state interest and are based solely in animus. I'll leave you with two statistics. Since 2017, there have been an estimated, you could add this up, I did the math, 1.3 billion trips to the restroom by transgender Texans, with no effect whatsoever on the safety or privacy of anyone else. And there are currently 200 bills to legislate us out of existence just this session. The other statistic? Once again, the #1 cause of death in Texas for children aged 13 to 19 is firearms. Anyone want to guess at the number of bills aimed at common sense gun reform? I'll wait over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie, and thank you for joining us on your way out for retirement. We wish you well for retirement. Before moving on to our last speaker, Officer Megan Sykes, Dallas Police Department's LGBTQ+ liaison, I want to give a little context about the position within the Dallas Police Department. In the early 1990s, in an effort to improve community relations, the Dallas Police Department created the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer liaison position. This was crafted to provide community members with a direct point of contact to help foster positive relationships and address unique safety concerns within the LGBTQ+ community. These efforts are focused on serving residents and fellow employees of the Dallas Police Department. One of the most important tasks of the LGBTQ+ liaison position is to conduct training for new police recruits and provide ongoing updated training for current employees. On any given day, Officer Sykes can be found engaging with groups or building a sense of community with residents. We're grateful for the work that she does to keep Dallas inclusive and welcoming and safe. Please welcome Officer Sykes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Megan Sykes.
And I'm Leah Hutchings, and we are the LGBTQ liaisons of the Dallas Police Department.
We are here to join in the celebration of Transgender Day of Visibility.
We are here to recognize the amazing work and resilience of our transgender officers.
We honor the lived experience of our close friends, our coworkers, family, and chosen family in the transgender community. We love you, we see you, and we care very deeply about your safety.
We, along with the other transgender officers, openly gay officers, and support staff, are proud to be a part of this community and the Dallas Police Department. We continue to advocate and protect the rights for everyone to feel safe in the city of Dallas. We continue to grow and reaffirm our commitment to the transgender community.
We would like to take this opportunity to say a special thank you to the Dallas area businesses who have signed up to partner in our community's Safe Place program.
This program provides protection for victims of hate crimes and bullying. These Safe Place locations have signed up and volunteered to display a rainbow-colored Dallas Police badge in the front window of their business. This symbol welcomes victims into a safe space while they wait for police assistance. This program also helps to increase the confidence of victims to report hate crimes and hate incidents. We hope even more Dallas businesses stand up to hate and sign up for the Safe Place program this year.
For the past 4 years, I've watched with great pride as my fellow officers have treated members of my beloved LGBTQ community with respect and dignity, volunteering for special protections, details organizing marches and protests, enjoying but keeping vigilant watch over festivals and concerts. With clear duty to serve, heroic spirits, open minds, and open hearts, the officers of the Dallas Police Department have sent a clear message. Hate has no home in our city.
While we celebrate, we will not forget our call to action. We're called to protect and serve the most vulnerable, underserved, and underprotected with pride and care. We will educate the uninformed with a kind heart and listening ear. We will take a stand against hate and continue to advocate for law, order, and justice.
We would like you to remain strong, Dallas. We're all in this together. Thank you very much for listening.
As a closing note, I want to thank everyone who came here today. Your presence here truly matters. We deeply appreciate all you do for the transgender community. Before we wrap up, I have one final announcement. Tonight, Clyde Warren Park, 1900 North Pearl Street, Bank of America, KPMG Plaza, Reunion Tower will all be illuminated in blue, pink, and white in honor of Transgender Day of Visibility. So be sure to look out for it. While I am excited for our partners that did participate in this tonight, I have to express disappointment in those who chose not to stand with us, but it's a reminder that we still have work to do. At this time, when visibility and solidarity matter more than ever, it is disheartening to see some remain silent. I ask that we all do better, Dallas, because supporting trans lives should never be conditional. Thank you all so much for being here, and have a great rest of your day. Hey, Janie, before you leave, can we grab a picture?